Ladies and gentlemen, life is not built overnight. It is built brick by brick, choice by choice, and day by day. When we look at the strength of women, we don't just see individuals. We see pillars of families, societies, and even nations. A woman's journey is filled with challenges, responsibilities, and expectations. But what truly makes her rise above is the foundation she chooses to stand on. Today, in the Let Us Reflect on 5 Powerful Things Women Can Build Their Life Upon. The first is faith. When life throws storms, faith becomes the anchor. A woman with faith doesn't crumble under difficulties. She bends, she adapts, but she doesn't break. Faith gives her the courage to walk through dark tunnels with the confidence that light is waiting at the other end. The second is self-respect. Respect is not demanded, it is commanded by the way we carry ourselves. When a woman values herself, others begin to value her too. She becomes like a priceless jewel. Not everyone can afford her presence, and not everyone deserves it. Self-respect creates boundaries, and boundaries protect dignity. The third is compassion. Power without compassion becomes arrogance, but compassion with power becomes influence. A woman's natural ability to nurture and care is not weakness, it is strength. When combined with wisdom, compassion can heal families, communities, and even broken souls. The fourth is resilience. Life will test every woman. It will try to push her down, but resilience is the art of rising again. Every scar becomes a story, every fall becomes a lesson, and every tear becomes fuel for growth. Resilience is not about never falling. It is about refusing to stay down. The fifth is purpose. When a woman knows her purpose, she becomes unstoppable. She is not swayed by opinions or distracted by comparisons. Purpose gives direction, meaning, and fulfillment. Without purpose, success feels empty. With purpose, even small achievements feel divine. So, my friends, when women build their lives on faith, self-respect, compassion, resilience, and purpose, they don't just survive, they thrive. And in their thriving, they uplift everyone around them. Faith is not something we see, touch, or measure. Yet it is one of the most powerful forces that shapes a woman's journey. When storms come in life, it is not always the external circumstances that decide the outcome. It is the strength within. Faith is that strength. It gives a woman the ability to stand tall when the world tries to bend her, to move forward when the path ahead looks uncertain, and to smile even when life feels heavy. Without faith, challenges look like mountains too high to climb, but with faith, even mountains look like stepping stones to something greater. Faith is not only about believing in a higher power, it is also about believing in oneself. Many women face moments when the world underestimates them, when voices around them say, "You can't do this," or "This is not for you." In such moments, faith whispers, "You can and you will." Faith acts like an inner compass, pointing towards, even when the road is filled with doubts. It is what gives courage to mothers raising children single-handedly, to young girls pursuing education despite obstacles, and to women who dare to dream in societies that expect them to remain silent. When a woman holds faith in her heart, she carries light into the darkest places. It allows her to see beyond temporary struggles and focus on the bigger picture of life. She understands that pain is not permanent, that setbacks are not the end, and that every difficulty carries within it the seed of growth. Faith is what helps her walk through the storms of criticism, rejection, and failure without losing herself. It is the assurance that no matter how heavy the night is, morning will come. Faith also builds patience. Many times, life does not give immediate answers. Dreams take time, relationships take effort, healing takes seasons. In such times, faith teaches a woman to wait with grace instead of worry, to trust the process instead of rushing it. Faith says, what is meant for you will never miss you, and what misses you was never meant for you. With this understanding, she does not crumble when life seems slow. Instead, she uses the waiting season to grow stronger. Another beauty of faith is that it does not work alone. It inspires action. A woman with faith doesn't just sit back. She works hard, but her work is infused with hope. She doesn't give up easily because she knows that every step she takes, even if small, is leading somewhere meaningful. Faith is like a seed planted in the soil of effort. Together, they grow into a tree that gives shade and fruit to many. Finally, faith brings peace. In a world that constantly compares, competes, and criticizes, faith gives a woman inner stability. She does not measure herself only by material success or by what people say about her. Instead, she finds her worth in knowing she is walking her unique path with courage. Faith keeps her grounded, reminding her that she is never truly alone. There is always a higher power guiding, protecting, and strengthening her steps. When faith becomes the foundation of a woman's life, she doesn't just survive the storms. She learns to dance in the rain. She becomes a source of light not only for herself, but for everyone around her. Faith makes her unshakable, unstoppable, and unforgettable. Self-respect is the silent crown that a woman wears, even if the world cannot see it. It is not about arrogance or pride, but about valuing herself enough to know what she deserves and refusing to settle for less. When a woman builds her life on self-respect, she learns the art of saying no to what diminishes her and yes to what uplifts her. She begins to walk with dignity, speak with confidence, and live with integrity. Without self-respect, she may find herself trapped in cycles of pleasing others, losing her own voice just to be accepted. But with self-respect, she creates an inner boundary that protects her peace, her dreams, and her identity. In a world that often tries to measure a woman by her looks, her marital status, or her achievements, self-respect becomes her shield. It reminds her that she is not defined by comparisons or opinions. A woman with self-respect doesn't need to prove her worth to anyone. She already knows it. When others try to belittle her, she does not shrink. She simply understands that their words reflect their own insecurities, not her reality. Self-respect empowers her to stand tall, even in the face of criticism, because she is not desperate for external validation. Relationships are one of the areas where self-respect plays the most crucial role. Many women tolerate mistreatment out of fear of being alone or fear of losing love. But a woman with self-respect knows that love without respect is empty. She will never allow herself to be disrespected, whether in friendships, family ties, or romantic bonds. Her self-respect teaches her that it is better to walk alone with dignity than to stay in a company that breaks her spirit. This doesn't mean she rejects love or care. On the contrary, she welcomes it, but only when it comes with honor and mutual respect. Self-respect also influences how a woman pursues her dreams. Instead of giving up her aspirations just to fit into someone else's idea of who she should be, she stays true to her calling. She respects her own potential enough to nurture it. She doesn't wait for others to give her permission to shine. She gives herself permission to rise. Self-respect becomes the voice that says, "You are capable. You are worthy. You are enough." This voice keeps her moving forward even when doubts creep in. Moreover, self-respect sets the tone for how others treat her. People often mirror the standards we set for ourselves. If a woman values herself, others learn to value her too. If she consistently undervalues herself, she unintentionally teaches others to do the same. By carrying herself with dignity, she commands respect without having to demand it. She becomes like a priceless jewel. Not everyone can handle her brilliance, and not everyone deserves her presence. Another important aspect of self-respect is balance. It doesn't mean being rigid or closed off. It means honoring oneself while also honoring others. A woman with self-respect is kind, but she is not a pushover. She is giving, but not to the point of losing herself. She knows that saying yes to everything can sometimes be the biggest betrayal to her own soul. So she learns to prioritize, to choose wisely, and to protect her energy. In the end, self-respect allows a woman to live authentically. She no longer hides behind masks to gain acceptance. She doesn't shrink to make others comfortable. She doesn't allow society's labels to dictate her worth. Instead, she rises with the quiet strength of someone who knows her value deeply. With self-respect as her foundation, she walks through life, not begging for acknowledgement, but radiating dignity in every step. Compassion is often mistaken for weakness, but in reality, it is one of the greatest strengths a woman can possess. It is the ability to feel the pain of others, to extend kindness, even when it is not returned, and to love in a world that sometimes responds with indifference. Compassion is not just an emotion, it is a choice, a conscious decision to respond to life with empathy instead of bitterness. When a woman builds her life on compassion, she becomes a source of light, healing, and inspiration for everyone around her. A compassionate woman has the unique gift of seeing beyond flaws and mistakes. She understands that no one is perfect, including herself And this understanding allows her to forgive more easily, to connect more deeply, and to love more genuinely. Compassion doesn't mean ignoring injustice or tolerating wrong. It means choosing to address challenges without hatred in the heart. It is the balance between strength and gentleness, between standing firm for what is right and still caring for the humanity in others. Compassion is also what gives a woman influence that lasts far longer than authority or power. Power can force people to listen, but compassion makes them want to listen. Authority may demand respect, but compassion earns it. A compassionate woman can transform her home, her workplace, and her community because she leads not with fear, but with love. She understands that people don't always remember what you say, but they will always remember how you made them feel. When life becomes difficult, compassion also extends inward. Many women are quick to give kindness to others, but often forget to show it to themselves. A compassionate woman recognizes the importance of self-compassion, treating herself with the same patience, forgiveness, and love that she gives to others. She learns not to be her own harshest critic, but her greatest encourager. By practicing compassion for herself, she strengthens her ability to offer it to others without burning out. Compassion in action can be seen in the smallest of gestures. A smile to a stranger, a helping hand to someone in need, listening without judgment, or simply being present when someone feels alone. These little acts may appear small, but they carry tremendous power. Compassion creates ripples. It inspires others to act kindly too, spreading goodness far beyond what the eye can see. What makes compassion so powerful is that it breaks barriers. It crosses cultures, languages, and social divides. A compassionate woman sees humanity first, beyond differences of background, belief, or status. She knows that we are all connected by our shared struggles and hopes. This awareness gives her the ability to bridge gaps, to heal divisions, and to bring people together. Compassion also protects a woman's heart from bitterness. Life will inevitably bring betrayal, disappointments, and hurt. Without compassion, pain can harden into resentment, but with compassion, pain is transformed into wisdom. Instead of asking, "Why me?" a compassionate heart asks, "What can I learn and how can I grow from this?" She chooses to let her wounds make her wiser, not colder. Ultimately, compassion is strength wrapped in gentleness. It is the power to face a harsh world without losing tenderness, to endure personal struggles without becoming unkind, and to lift others even while carrying one's own burdens. A woman who builds her life on compassion doesn't just change her own story, she changes the lives of everyone she touches. She becomes a reminder that love is not weakness, but the greatest force for transformation in the world. Resilience is the quiet strength that allows a woman to keep moving forward, no matter how many times life tries to pull her back. It is the ability to rise after a fall, to keep faith when doors close, and to rebuild when everything seems broken. Resilience does not mean that she never feels pain, disappointment, or fear. It means she refuses to be defined by them. Every woman faces storms, some expected, some sudden. And what makes her extraordinary is not that she escapes them, but that she learns to dance through the rain. A resilient woman understands that life is not a straight road. It is full of twists, turns, and unexpected detours. There will be failures, rejections, and heartbreaks. There will be moments when dreams seem impossible and when strength feels like it is slipping away. Yet resilience whispers, this is not the end. It reminds her that even the deepest valleys eventually lead to higher ground. Instead of allowing failure to become a full stop, she turns it into a comma, just a pause before the next chapter begins. Resilience is also built through scars. Every setback, every rejection, every disappointment leaves a mark, but instead of hiding those marks, a resilient woman wears them with pride. They are proof that she has survived, that she has fought, and that she has grown. Just as a tree grows stronger roots after facing storms, a woman grows deeper strength after facing challenges. Her scars do not make her weaker. They become the very symbols of her endurance. Another beautiful quality of resilience is adaptability. Life does not always go according to plan. A resilient woman understands this and learns to bend without breaking. She knows that if one path closes, another one will open. If one dream fails, a new dream can be born. She does not cling desperately to what is gone. Instead, she focuses on what can still be created. Adaptability is what allows her to transform obstacles into opportunities and setbacks into setups for comebacks. Resilience also requires patience. Healing, rebuilding, and rising again all take time. A resilient woman is not in a rush to prove herself to the world. She trusts that her journey is unfolding at the right pace. Even if progress is slow, she keeps moving forward. She knows that a seed does not become a tree in one night. It takes seasons. And so, with patience, she endures the hard times, knowing they are shaping her into someone stronger. Perhaps the most inspiring aspect of resilience is the hope it carries. A resilient woman never loses sight of the possibility of better days. She may cry, but she doesn't quit. She may rest, but she doesn't give up. Hope fuels her determination, reminding her that no night lasts forever and no winter stays without spring. This hope does not just keep her alive, it allows her to thrive even in the harshest circumstances. Her resilience also influences those around her. When others see her rising after setbacks, they too find courage to rise. Her story becomes a testimony that no fall is final, no defeat is permanent. She becomes an example to her children, her family, her community, and even strangers. That strength is not about never breaking, but about always rebuilding. In the end, resilience transforms a woman's life from one of mere survival to one of victory. She becomes unstoppable, not because she avoids hardships, but because she masters the art of overcoming them. Resilience gives her wings to rise above limitations, courage to face the unknown, and power to create a future brighter than her past. Purpose is the guiding light that gives meaning to a woman's journey. Without purpose, life feels like a series of random events filled with activity but lacking true fulfillment. A woman may achieve much, but if she doesn't know why she is doing it, she will always feel a sense of emptiness. Purpose transforms ordinary actions into meaningful steps in the turning everyday struggles into a path towards something greater. It is the inner compass that keeps her focused, steady, and determined even when the world around her is filled with distractions. When a woman discovers her purpose, she no longer lives to simply please others or follow society's expectations. She begins to live with clarity and direction. Instead of chasing everything, she chooses what truly aligns with her heart. She doesn't waste time on comparisons because she understands that her journey is unique. Just as every seed is designed to grow into a specific plant, every woman has within her a unique calling that cannot be replaced or copied by anyone else. Her purpose is her own, and when she embraces it, she unlocks a sense of fulfillment that no external reward can provide. Purpose also fuels resilience and perseverance. When challenges come, it is easy to give up if there is no deeper meaning behind the struggle. But a woman with purpose does not crumble in the face of obstacles. She endures not because life is easy, but because she knows her fight is worth it. Purpose makes her sacrifices meaningful, her efforts valuable, and her struggles worthwhile. It gives her the strength to keep going when others would stop. Living with purpose also brings joy. Success without purpose can feel hollow, like drinking water that never quenches thirst. But even small achievements become deeply satisfying when they are connected to purpose. A mother raising her children with love, a teacher shaping young minds, an artist creating beauty, or a leader inspiring change, all of these find joy in their purpose, even when the journey is demanding. Joy comes not from the size of the achievement, but from the depth of its meaning. Another beautiful aspect of purpose is that it expands beyond the self. A woman's purpose is often tied to uplifting others, making a difference, and leaving behind a legacy. When she lives for more than herself, her life gains significance that outlasts her. Her words, actions, and choices become seeds planted in the lives of others, continuing to grow even when she is not there to see them. This is why purpose-driven women often become leaders, nurturers, healers, and visionaries. They understand that true greatness lies in serving something larger than themselves. Purpose also protects a woman from being lost in the noise of the world. Every day, countless voices tell her what she should be, how she should look, and what she should do. Without purpose, she can easily get caught up in these expectations, constantly changing herself to fit in. But with purpose, she remains steady. She no longer feels the need to live by someone else's script because she is writing her own. Purpose gives her the courage to be authentic, to say no to distractions, and to invest her time and energy in what truly matters. Most importantly, purpose brings peace. A woman with purpose may not have everything figured out, but she carries an inner calm because she knows she is walking in alignment with her truth. She is not in a race with anyone else, nor is she enslaved by doubts. Instead, she embraces her path with confidence, knowing that every step, whether forward, backward, or sideways, is leading her closer to her destiny. Her life becomes more than survival. It becomes a meaningful journey that inspires everyone who crosses her path. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is the decision to move forward despite it. For a woman, courage is one of the most transformative pillars to build her life upon. It is what allows her to raise her voice in a world that often asks her to remain silent. It is what pushes her to step into the unknown when everything within her wants to retreat. Courage is the strength that makes her break limitations, challenge stereotypes, and claim her rightful space in a society that sometimes underestimates her. Without courage, even the brightest dreams can fade into shadows. With courage, even the most impossible goals can turn into reality. Courage shows up in many forms, not always loud or dramatic. Sometimes it is in the quiet decision to walk away from what no longer serves her. Sometimes it is in choosing to stand alone when the crowd goes the other way. Sometimes it is in taking that first small step toward a big dream. Courage can be gentle yet powerful. It is the daily act of choosing authenticity over approval, truth over comfort, and growth over fear. A courageous woman is not someone who never feels fear. She is someone who has learned not to let fear control her. Fear may knock at her door, but courage opens it and walks through anyway. Every great achievement in history was born out of someone's courage to act. And women throughout time have carried this strength in remarkable ways. From mothers protecting their families to leaders changing nations, courage has always been the invisible thread that ties their actions together. Courage also protects a woman's identity. In a world filled with expectations, judgments, and comparisons, it takes courage to simply be oneself, to embrace flaws, to celebrate uniqueness, and to live without constantly seeking approval requires a bold heart. Courage says, I may not fit into everyone's mold, but I will not shrink myself to make others comfortable. This kind of courage frees her from the heavy chains of conformity and empowers her to shine in her own authenticity. Another important aspect of courage is the willingness to fail. Many people let opportunities slip away because they fear failure. But a woman of courage understands that failure is not the opposite of success. It is part of it. Every stumble teaches her something, every setback strengthens her, and every rejection redirects her to something better. The courage turns failure from an ending into a stepping stone. It whispers, try again. When the world says, give up, courage also fuels change. Whether in personal life or society, progress requires brave voices and fearless actions. A woman who builds her life on courage does not remain silent when she sees injustice. She does not hide when challenges arise. She uses her strength not just for herself, but to uplift others. Her courage becomes contagious, inspiring others to break their own chains and rise above their fears. Most importantly, courage gives a woman the power to dream. It takes courage to envision a life beyond limitations, to believe in possibilities that others cannot yet see. Courage transforms her dreams into goals and her goals into achievements. It gives her the confidence to step into unfamiliar paths, knowing that growth never comes from comfort zones. At its core, courage allows a woman to live fully, not half-heartedly. It pushes her to embrace risks, endure trials, and celebrate victories with grace. She learns that fear may always exist, but it does not have to be the driver of her life. With courage in her heart, she becomes unstoppable, a force of strength, hope, and inspiration to all who witness her journey. Wisdom is far more than knowledge. It is the ability to apply understanding with clarity, balance, and depth. For a woman, wisdom becomes a priceless treasure, a light that guides her choices, her relationships, and her journey through life's complexities. Knowledge can be gained through books, education, and information, but wisdom is often born out of experience, reflection, and discernment. When a woman builds her life on wisdom, she is able to see beyond the surface, to recognize what truly matters, and to make decisions that honor both her present and her future. Wisdom gives a woman the power to distinguish between what is urgent and what is important. In a world that constantly demands her attention, she learns not to be distracted by every noise or overwhelmed by every demand. Instead, she prioritizes what aligns with her values and purpose. She understands that not every battle is worth fighting, not every opinion is worth responding to, and not every opportunity is worth pursuing. Wisdom is the inner compass that helps her invest her time and energy wisely. A wise woman also knows the value of silence. She understands that sometimes the most powerful response is no response at all. Wisdom teaches her when to speak and when to remain quiet, when to step forward and when to step back. This discernment protects her from unnecessary conflicts and allows her to channel her energy into meaningful pursuits. She does not waste time trying to prove herself to those who are determined not to understand her. Instead, she focuses on building, growing, and elevating herself and those around her. Wisdom is also evident in how she approaches relationships. Rather than being blinded by appearances or temporary emotions, she looks deeper into character, values, and intentions. A wise woman surrounds herself with people who uplift her, challenge her positively, and bring out the best in her. She does not allow toxic connections to drain her spirit. She knows that relationships are not just about presence, but about influence. And so she chooses wisely who she allows into her inner circle. Another aspect of wisdom is patience. A woman of wisdom understands that everything unfolds in its own time. She does not rush her journey or compare her timing with others. She knows that flowers bloom in different seasons, and in the same way, her growth, success, and blessings will arrive when they are meant to. This patience saves her from unnecessary stress and keeps her grounded in gratitude. Wisdom also enables her to turn pain into growth. Every challenge, failure, or heartbreak carries within it a lesson. Instead of letting struggles harden her heart, a wise woman reflects, learns, and evolves. She doesn't dwell endlessly on what went wrong. She asks herself what she can carry forward from the experience. Her wisdom allows her to transform wounds into wisdom, scars into stories, and mistakes into stepping stones. Perhaps the most beautiful thing about wisdom is that it radiates. A woman of wisdom becomes a source of guidance, not only for herself, but for others. Her words bring comfort, her choices inspire respect, and her presence provides assurance. People are drawn to her not because she is loud or forceful, but because she carries a quiet strength that speaks louder than words. When wisdom becomes a pillar of her life, a woman navigates with grace and clarity. She does not stumble blindly into every challenge, nor is she easily shaken by the noise of the world. Instead, she stands firm, rooted in insight, and able to see life from a higher perspective. Her wisdom becomes her shield, her lamp, and her legacy. Gratitude is one of the most transformative qualities a woman can carry in her heart. It is the ability to recognize blessings, even in the midst of struggles, to see abundance where others see lack, and to appreciate the simple gifts of life that often go unnoticed. Gratitude does not mean that everything in life is perfect. It means choosing to focus on what is good, even when life is far from easy. When a woman builds her life on gratitude, she cultivates a mindset that turns ordinary days into celebrations and challenges into opportunities for growth. A grateful woman sees life differently. She does not measure her worth by what she does not have, but by the richness of what she has already been given. Instead of constantly comparing her journey with others, she looks within and acknowledges her own progress. Gratitude teaches her that success is not only about reaching big milestones, but also about cherishing the small victories along the way. It allows her to pause and find joy in moments that others often rush past, like the smile of a child, the warmth of a sunrise, or the comfort of a kind word. Gratitude also has the power to shift her perspective during difficult times. Life will always bring seasons of pain, disappointment, and uncertainty. But a woman rooted in gratitude does not allow challenges to consume her spirit. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" she learns to ask, "What is this teaching me?" She understands that even hardships carry hidden lessons that strengthen her character. Gratitude helps her transform obstacles into stepping stones and losses into wisdom. One of the greatest gifts of gratitude is the peace it brings. A grateful heart does not dwell endlessly on what is missing. Instead, it embraces the present with contentment. This does not mean she stops striving for growth or abandons her dreams. It means she is able to pursue them with joy instead of restlessness. Gratitude frees her from the endless cycle of wanting more and allows her to find fulfillment in what she already has while still working toward what she desires. Gratitude also deepens her relationships. A woman who practices gratitude does not take people for granted. She appreciates the presence, efforts, and kindness of others. Her words often carry warmth because she remembers to say thank you, not only in grand moments but in the smallest gestures. Gratitude strengthens bonds, nurtures love, and creates harmony in friendships, families, and communities. Her gratitude becomes a ripple that inspires others to recognize the goodness in their own lives. Another profound effect of gratitude is that it fuels resilience. When life pushes her down, gratitude gives her the strength to rise again by reminding her of what is still good, what is still working, and what is still possible. It keeps her from drowning in despair because it shifts her focus from what went wrong to what can still go right. Gratitude becomes the anchor that steadies her through storms, keeping her grounded in hope. Perhaps the most beautiful part of gratitude is that it creates abundance. The more a woman appreciates what she has, the more she begins to notice blessings all around her. It is not that her circumstances suddenly change, it is that her vision changes. She realizes that joy is not found in having everything, but in recognizing the beauty of what is already present. Gratitude multiplies her happiness, making her life richer without needing more possessions, status, or approval. When gratitude becomes the foundation of her life, a woman radiates a quiet joy that inspires others. She becomes a reminder that happiness is not about waiting for perfect conditions, but about embracing the present moment with a thankful heart. Gratitude turns her journey into a gift, her struggles into strength, and her life into a testimony of grace.